Welcome back. We have another episode for the Black DX project. I've pretty much finished it all up. There are several issues, one being wheel fitment, because the brake kit made me push the wheel out substantially, so we're dealing with the scrub radius being too far out. So with the scrub radius being so far out, the wheel is hitting the headlight. I've spaced the fender a little bit out with a thick spacer, like a 5mm. It pushed out the fender a little bit. It gave me some clearance for fender to tire clearance, but there's issues with turning in the headlight. The headlight's fixed, so it's still hitting that bracket. We could cut it, but I'm gonna still try to figure out some other way around it. There's other small issues, one being I did a shakedown recently, so I got the car aligned. Did a shakedown when I was bedding in the pads. I was running into rear brake lockup. I did some testing on some gravel to see if the rears would lock up first, but the fronts are locking up. So it seems to be some sort of issue there. When I was bedding them in, the rears were locking out and the rear was coming out. If it was slightly turned, I started testing it more and it was indeed locking up heavy in the rear. So we've gone ahead and got a couple proportioning valves, and we'll go through those. These are the newer style. It's a pancake style proportioning valve. You'll find this in later model Integras, and you'll find these in all the EK Civics, whether it's coupe or not. The difference between them is an Integra non-ABS car has rear disc, whereas non-ABS Civic didn't. Civics never had rear disc unless it was an EM1 or an EK9. So that's the difference. So this one is a drum rear, and this Integra one is disc rear. As discussed before, I went ahead and put the non-ABS Integra one in because when I got this car, it had ITR front brakes and it had ITR rear disc, but it had the stock pancake. So what I was feeling when I braked was when I tapped the pedal, you'd have this crazy stopping force from the front, like incredible, like with no pressure it would stop so much with force that I knew that it had a very heavy front bias. So if we take a look at the EK or EG Civic I had spoon brakes and then I had a rear disc. I ran 40-40 valve, which was essentially what this pancake one is from the Integra. It's a 40-40. So we had even braking, even on mid-turn trail braking. You could press the brake and the rear won't come out when the tail end gets a little light. So that didn't happen. So that was a great brake setup for ITR caliper and spoon caliper. So this one would work with spoon calipers and my current setup, but it didn't work with this car, with these AP Racing brakes. So these ones most likely require a bit more fluid to the front, I believe. So we're gonna try the other proportion valve. So if you look here, I've gone for pretty much just one drive on this car, and that's the rear wheel I put in the front now. That's how much brake dust from a wrong proportioning valve after one drive. Like, that's crazy to me. that was only in the rear, so it was very uneven. So I've already taken the liberty to get that done, and we've gone ahead and installed the stock EK1 back in, which it originally came with, and I'm hoping this one will allow the fronts to brake harder than they currently do. Right now the cars, it doesn't have crazy braking performance, and you can see on the rear wheels there's quite a bit of brake dust. So it was a clear sign. I should have figured from the start that it did have a rear braking bias, so I've gone ahead and changed that. If we do have an issue with this current setup with the AP Racing brakes, we're going to have to put a proportioning valve that's adjustable, possibly from Wilwood, in line with it. So if you look right here, it's a good thing this car's black. You see we have some gap here. It's because there's a fender bracket that bolts to the headlight and one that bolts to the frame. So I used a spacer, 5mm, in between both those brackets to push it out. So this gave me enough room here to be able to turn. So we got a little bit more clearance. This has been rolled and it has been slightly pulled, and we do have a tear here from pulling so much. Pro Series Plus upper control arms, they use a urethane bushing. That's the upgrade on it. The upgrade is a thicker bushing so it doesn't get displaced when you launch. So it uses a thick bushing. But on this car, it seems to be causing a bit of an issue with noise. So I'm going to go ahead and put some energy suspension grease in it, but that will require me to remove it. So I'm just going to figure out what I need to do to remove it. Okay, so I've knocked out the bushing. What I meant was I knocked out the sleeve, and now I'm just going to pull out the bushing urethane, and I'm going to lube it on both sides. I've just come back from a drive, and we tested out the proportion valve. So the OEM one does work substantially better. As soon as you press the brakes, you do get a bit more performance in stopping, but also the rears are not locking up right now. So the bias is a lot better with the OEM proportioning valve. So that's a job done, that's complete. The brakes work great now. There's a few more things I want to tackle. I'm not sure this is the last issue, but it is one that does bother me a little bit. This is the spoon axle back. It's made for EG6 and it's made for EK9 or EK fitment. This is the axle back, so it's a very last portion of the exhaust only, so the portion that goes over the lower control arm. The problem is that the fitment on an EK is not great. It's not good like the EG is. This actually comes really close to the bumper. It's actually melted my bumper a little bit. But I'm not really satisfied with the look. Just the tip shape and just the look of it, like the angle of it isn't really perfect with the EK bumper. And the tip shape is a little wonky too on it. It kind of like bulges out and goes to a small on the end. So I might cut that off and redo a tip just to a stock style straight tip with an angle cut. That might match the bumper or might not, I'm not sure yet. That's one thing to consider. So with the car as low as it is, though it doesn't look that low, it's on 15s with a pretty large tire. It gives it the illusion that it's actually pretty high off the ground, but we are tucking past the line on a front fender, and you know on a front fender, when you turn, it's going to contact no matter what. So I'm running into that issue a little bit. I've been considering cutting and raising the arch a little bit, but I'm unsure if I want to pursue that. We've dialed in as much as we could just to make it drivable. It drives pretty good, but when it comes to parking lots and tight radius turns, it almost sounds like it grinds because it's rubbing so badly. So that's the main issue we need to tackle next. So we finally got the AC bracket. And also we got the condenser or compressor. These are almost the final pieces to the AC setup. We still need the fan, and then the rest I'm going to get off Rock Auto. So this is a B20 AC bracket. This allows you to use your single overhead cam system, your lines, and your compressor. So that's what this is. This is actually off the B20 as well, the CRV. I ended up throwing out the single cam one I had, but I picked this up from the junkyard for, can't remember, it was like $65. So we're gonna refresh this obviously, but we still will need the fan and the lines, and I'll get those from Rock Auto. But we're one step closer. I'm probably gonna pull this out because we don't need it because we're running the Hasports. It'll just clean it up a bit. We don't want that rod sticking out for no reason.